Greetings. Welcome to the Lab 2 walkthrough video. For this lab, we will have three files. We will have an HTML file, an ASPX file, and a CSS file. Now, the XHTML page is what you see here. It's where we're gathering all of our user input. We don't have any validation set up here or anything, but we have our design. We have a text box to get the user's name. We have 6 other text boxes to just ask them for their favorite cities. And then we have 2 selection lists at the bottom to ask for a starting Fahrenheit temperature from 0 through 100, and then an ending Fahrenheit temperature from 101 to 212. So we're not going to validate this, but this is how we're going to collect information. Now, once we get that information, we will then send it with a post to the ASPX page. The ASPX page will then output the user's name, formatted and displayed at the top of the page. They will take the 6 cities and they will sort them in reverse order, Z to A, output in a numbered list. So watch how that happens when I do this. Then they're going to output a list of Fahrenheit to Celsius conversions depending on what number they started with, what number they ended with. So every list, a list could be 3 values, a list could be 200 values. Okay? Now, a couple things on some formatting here. The freezing temperatures should be colored with a cool color, blue perhaps. Extremely hot temperatures, and I define that as intolerable to humans, and you can decide what that is, colored with a hot color. If you want to color the middle colors, that's fine too. So CSS would be a good candidate for that. The CSS should also be used to make sure the pages look the same, have a theme, as well as an image. So let's go through this a couple times here. Let me go ahead and enter a name here. Enter a few cities here. Okay, so I have my cities. Let me go ahead and notice this is a selection list. So let me start at 10 Fahrenheit and let's say 200 Fahrenheit for the ending. I have to scroll down a little bit here. I have my calculate and start over button. Start over will clear everything, which I don't want to do right now. So let me go ahead and get calculate. Before I do that though, remember we have Bubba, and then we have our cities, Kalamazoo, Pittsburgh, Chicago, Houston, Detroit, Miami. And then 10 is our starting Fahrenheit, 200 is our ending Fahrenheit. These are the values we're submitting to the ASPX page. Okay, so here's the page looks about the same. Here's Bubba. I've centered it and displayed it somewhat with some CSS here. 6 favorite cities, right, from Z to A, Pittsburgh down to Chicago. So even though we had them ranked them on the first page, we did switch them around, and in an ordered list from 6 to 1. Now if we look at our Fahrenheit and Celsius, 10 degrees Fahrenheit is minus 12 Celsius, so these are all blue because those are pretty cold temperatures. When we get to 1 Celsius, right, we're above freezing from 0 Celsius, so 1 Celsius, notice I don't really have a color there, I just have my display of temperatures. This is a dynamic table that it's being output in. I keep going, and then I decided 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius is too hot. That's for me. You can have your own there. It can be warmer. And so they switched to red, all the way down to 200 Fahrenheit. So it started at 10 and went to 200. Now we don't have a clear here, but if I go back, notice all this information is still there. And it is dynamic, so I could go ahead and instead make this let's make it a short list, right? So let's get this higher here. Let's make it 98 Fahrenheit through 102. Make it very short. We can change some of these as well if we'd like. Let's decide, well, we don't want to go to Houston, so Sandusky instead there. So let's go ahead. So this will change as well too. It'll resort and whatnot, and we'll see a shorter list. There we go. The favorite cities is different, and of course we have a lot fewer temperatures, and they're all in the hot zone. Okay, so there's our Lab 2 walkthrough. Please ask questions in class on the board. Look through this video as often as you need to, and see you in class.